At first, it didn't feel powerful. It felt lonely. Because choosing yourself doesn't always look like confidence in the beginning. Sometimes it looks like distance. You stopped replying the same way. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped chasing people who were pulling away. And suddenly, everything felt quiet. Too quiet. Because you were used to chaos, used to overthinking, used to checking your phone, used to waiting for replies, used to giving your energy away every single day. And now, you had all that energy with nowhere to send it. That's the part no one talks about. When you start choosing yourself, you don't immediately feel better. You feel empty. Because your mind was addicted to people who weren't good for you, to attention that wasn't consistent, to connections that weren't real. And now that it's gone, you feel the withdrawal. But here's the truth. That emptiness is not loneliness. It's space. Space you never had before. Space to think. Space to breathe. Space to finally see things clearly. Because when you were constantly giving, you didn't have time to reflect. You were too busy fixing things, too busy understanding others, too busy trying to keep people in your life who were already halfway out. But now, you see everything. You see who was real. You see who was using you. You see who only showed up when it was convenient. And that awareness changes you. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop chasing. You stop proving your worth. Because you realize something powerful. The right people never needed to be convinced. They never needed constant reminders. They never needed you to overgive. They valued you without conditions. And once you understand that, you can't go back. You can't go back to begging for attention. You can't go back to one-sided effort. You can't go back to losing yourself just to keep someone else. So you start choosing yourself, not loudly, quietly, in the way you set boundaries, in the way you walk away, in the way you stop entertaining things that drain you. And people notice. Not immediately, but eventually. They notice your absence. They notice your silence. They notice you're not as available. And suddenly, they come back. But this time, you're different. This time, you're not desperate. You're aware. And awareness is dangerous for people who benefited from your old version. Because now, you see patterns. You see excuses. You see inconsistency. You see the truth behind their actions, and you don't ignore it anymore. That's growth. Not becoming cold, but becoming clear. Clear about what you deserve. Clear about what you tolerate. Clear about who deserves access to you. Because not everyone does. And that's the biggest shift. You stop giving everyone the same version of you. You become selective. Selective with your time. Selective with your energy. Selective with your presence. And that's when your value increases. Not because you changed who you are, but because you changed who has access to you. And that changes everything. Because now, you're not easy to reach. You're not always available. You're not always giving. And suddenly, people respect you more. Not because you became someone else, but because you stopped giving them unlimited access. And that's the lesson. People don't always value you when you're always there. They value you when they realize they can lose you. And now, you're no longer afraid of that. You're no longer afraid of losing people because you've learned something deeper. Losing yourself is far worse, and you're never going back to that.